Welcome back, people. It is episode 19 of season 4 of the Taxi Squad podcast. We are recording on a Tuesday this week, so if anything happens in between Tuesday
it
and
will.
Thursday, we are some shit's going to go down. It usually does, but hey, you do what you can when you're traveling and the world is crazy. We both got a good home game. Actually, Vince's away game this week.
I'm
But
more home
after
than I've ever
all-
been, brother.
In theory, he is more home than he's ever been, is right. And with all of that, we got a fair amount to get into. So before we do that, the people of St. Louis, welcome. And follow, like, share with a friend, and know that there will be a day we return. And with all of that, to the people who just come here and do it anyways, just do that, do the same thing. So on all platforms, you know it. Give it a share, give it a like, give it a follow. With all that, we have a recap of our time in St. Louis. It was a fantastic time. Some of your names may be brought up on it. Now, with all that, we have a strange, unusual topic. MLB baseball and rain delays, the NBA playoffs, and a little bit of NHL. I don't know. Anyways, it's the Taxi Squad podcast.
Come on, everybody, celebrate. The Taxi Squad is here today. So lose the blues, kick back and relax for now. They talk about sports and stupid stuff. They're probably wrong and it might get rough. So welcome back. It's the Taxi Squad. Yeah.
Vince, how the hell are you?
I'm good, man. I'm on my 3-day back to work schedule until I leave again, but I'm jet setting everywhere.
He's muy popular.
Not
You're
even.
a very popular guy.
It's just everything always lines up. Does this happen to you where it's like I got to do something and it's always in like a 2-week span? And you're like, it sucks. Like, why isn't it spread out more?
Oh, does this happen to me of all people?
That's true.
Yes, Vince. Yes,
That's a good point.
All the fucking time.
That is a good
Welcome
point.
to life as I know it.
I hate it. I hate
between-
it every little bit. I hate it every little bit.
See, people, Vince is a very interesting human. He's the most extroverted introvert I've ever met in my life. He will go 3 straight days just being like, just fucking running for me.
Going out, chatting
And
with
then-
people, having fun, going to places. Yeah.
Yeah. And then that final day, he's just like, I don't want to talk to you.
I have
I
a
don't need to
meter,
talk to
man.
you.
I
I've
thoroughly
seen you for the
enjoy
past 2 days. I don't need to see you for a while now.
I enjoy hanging out with people and all that, but I definitely like as far as the introvert gaining energy when you're alone, like that's definitely me. Like I can't if there's a limit.
Oh, yeah.
There's always a limit where it's like, okay, I've overdone it. Like I need to go home. And that's what we did. And like we'll get into it in just a moment, but like we get back from St. Louis and I'm like, okay, like I got 3 days and then I'm going to fucking Miami, man.
It's so hard to be Vince, people. You have to understand.
It ain't
He
cheap.
gets to go to do
It ain't
random
cheap.
sports trip with his friends. He's only so blessed to be able to fit all this shit in a year. Some people, we don't always get to do that. But with all of that,
Well, ladies
I
don't
mean,
like
hey,
me,
to the
but
point, Vince.
but dudes do.
No, they like you. Oh, the women of St. Louis, you're a catch, pal.
I guess
That's all I'm
so.
saying. No, I mean, I'm just saying, Vinny's a catch in the good old 601, 60102, and also the 847-713. 713?
Yeah,
I got all my
312,
area codes
all that
mixed up.
jazz.
312. There we go.
Before we get into the nitty gritty of St. Louis, I want to bring up one thing that was
What do you want to bring up?
it bothered me, and that is
What bothered?
St. Louis pizza. Can we just put it on the line here, dude? Profile cheese is so gross. What are you doing, guys? Like, what do we? I understand every place has their own delicacies, but this is kind of like Vegemite. It's like I ate it and I'm like, ew. Like, what are we doing? Are we too blessed to have what we already have, or was it bad? Like, I didn't like it one bit.
It's just their take doing it their way. It's weird. It's oddly sweet.
Don't do it your way.
It just doesn't work.
Uh-uh.
Because the pizza itself that we ate, I don't even remember the name of where we went. That's how good of a time we were having. But supposedly, allegedly, this place is like a fucking place. It's near the hill. And everybody's like, oh, yeah, the Provel cheese, you got to go there. You got to go there. This pizza's the best in town. Okay, so we walk. Well, it felt like an hour.
It wasn't. It was like 3 blocks.
3 blocks. Okay, so we walk 3 blocks to eat pizza. We order 2 of them like idiots.
Well, there's 4 of us,
And then,
It's skinny pizza, big boys.
Yeah, big boys, skinny pizza. Usually, this group would eat a fucking bumper off of a car if it tasted remotely pleasable.
Mind you, after
no.
about 10 cocktails, too. So, like, we were hungry. We were famished.
Oh, we were famished after a day of having fun in the sun. But with all that, like, it just... Ugh.
I ate it, and I was like... Everything else was fine. It was the cheese, man. Like, the crust was good. Like, the way it was cooked was good. Square cut pizza, obviously like tavern style in Chicago. Everything was good. And then you eat the Provel, and you're like, ugh. It's like putting American cheese on a pizza. That's what I liken it to. It's like, that's supposed to be mozzarella. Like, what are we doing putting American? And I looked it up after because I was like, you know how you like hate search shit? Or like when you see somebody you hate online and you're like, I got to see everything about this person so I can continue to hate them. I was hate searching Provel cheese, trying to see what was in it. And they have like cheddar and it's like a mixture of cheeses. And I'm sorry to say it.
Exactly?
It's a mixture of a bunch of cheeses and it's only St. Louis. It's like from St. Louis. I don't know, dude. It's like cheddar. It's like maybe provolone. And then I think they put a little ass in it too because that was not my... That was not my ideal cheese. I don't want to. Everything else. Okay, so it's a white processed cheese, prominent in St. Louis, combination of cheddar, Swiss, and provolone. Really low melting point, so it's good for pizzas that way. But no, man. I'm sorry, guys. Everything else about St. Louis is great. No, nothing there.
Well, this is okay. This is my problem with the majority of the Midwest. I don't care if you're in Indianapolis. I don't care if you're in Kansas City. I don't care if you're in Kansas City, Kansas, or Missouri. Or St. Louis. Everywhere. And we're biased. We know. But everywhere wants to be Chicago. And I'm sorry. You're just not. It's not. Your pizza's not. Your food doesn't touch us. Maybe the Hill. Charlie Guido's on the Hill, outstanding.
Yeah, they have some good Italian food. And like the thing is like Detroit style is pretty good. I've had like Denver style pizza, that's pretty good. But like the thing is they change up like the ways it's shaped and shit. What's wrong with the St. Louis one is they took the most important ingredient and made it worse. Like, what are we doing? Why don't you take the most important ingredient and make it better or different and the same amount of good? I ate it, and you ate it, and the rest of us ate it, and we were like, no. So, again, this is not an indictment on St. Louis as a city. It's just an indictment on that pizza, because that was bad. I didn't like it at all.
Yeah.
It says, how salty, velvety Provel cheese. Get out of here. Became an icon. Miss me with that. I'm sorry, guys. I can't do it.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, no, it was a complete miss, and never do it again. So, all in all, St. Louis is a great city. Still wants to be Chicago. Not gonna lie. Don't hate me for it. Just saying, St. Louis people, you're great people. It wants to be Chicago.
Damn,
Anyway,
we're gonna get some hate on that, dude.
No, it's like I said. But if it's Kansas City, if it's Kansas, if it's Indy, I'm sorry. Everywhere is like you compare it to a mini Chicago if you're from there.
It was the original city of the Midwest. That's how it goes.
Like I stated, some of the best Italian food in the country is on the Hill. The Hill is awesome. Hill is fantastic. Don't get me wrong. Just saying. As I digress, though, we did get in on Friday night. It was a great time. We stayed until Sunday. By Sunday, all very sad boys, all very tired, all very
drive
hungover.
home.
4-hour flight home. Hey, we all did it. We all did it in some capacity. Whether you're sweating out alcohol on a plane or in a car or in a train, you figured it out. Either way, Friday night, we get in. The White Sox are playing the Cardinals. We end up at that game. Not the night to be a White Sox fan at that game. But the Busch Stadium locals and that area is just truly fantastic. I mean, Ballpark Village really is a game changer. It's like something you go to after a game and you're like, why isn't every ballpark like this? Like
We could use one.
We could use one on the south side. We could use a lot of things on the south side.
Good team.
But with that, yeah. But hey, the White Sox did win the series. Brian Ramos got called up. Exciting.
Okay,
And-
start.
And we'll get into it, but there was a 3-hour rain delay. That was on Saturday. Now, during Saturday, while the rain was hitting, we were in a beautiful dome. Okay, on I think that's what the southwest side of the city, and the Battlehawks played what was it, San Antonio?
Nope.
Roughnecks.
The Houston Roughnecks. San Antonio
My bad.
Brahmas, bro. Get it together. That's my team.
Oh, that's right. Vince is a Brahmas fan. So they played the Roughnecks of Houston, who are not very good. And AJ McCarron looked like AJ McCarron. Just looked good. He looked solid. You know, he's not the greatest. It was a low scoring game. I think the final score was 21-6. And then Akeem Butler's also on that team. So it was cool. We greased the guy at the door, gave him a little,
How
here's
you
a couple,
doing?
2, 3. And he was like, yeah, you guys can come into the reserved spot. So we did. We got wristbands, couple
Club, free food. Yeah.
free food, nice bathrooms. We had a good time. We also got some nice cushy leather seats with that. After that, we just hit the town, right? And the people of St. Louis, we love you. Met Turd Ferguson. Shout out to Turd Ferguson. Okay,
He's the man.
Turd's a good dude. Met the college bros. What was it? Jimmy, Jake, and there was another one. But they were good dudes.
Other one's gonna get pissed, dude.
Sorry, other one. Either way, I'll go back and remember your names. But it was wonderful to meet the people of St. Louis. We had some awesome plug questions, in my opinion, and we gave away some free gear.
Yeah.
So with all that, the free gear is the stock photo of this. So if you're listening on Spotify, we recommend you go look at that.
Yep.
Because the gear is pretty sick. And the masses agree with us.
Yeah, and we're looking to make some new stuff, updated stuff, eventually get a shop up. So if you guys are looking for some stuff, hit us up on Instagram, and we'll try to get some stuff to you.
Oh.
We obviously want everybody to have some T-Squad gear, but like you said, there it is. Look at that little charging block.
How about this little guy? How cute is he? Look at
And
this.
it charges your phone. Who wouldn't want
It
one?
charges your phone. You keep it on your desk. It's good things. Vince, how was your time in St. Louis? How was your 4-hour drive home? Tell me about it.
4-hour drive home was okay. Anybody that's ever lived in Chicago knows that drive is just mundane. It's just flat and straight the whole time. It was okay. I was glad to get home. Once I got home, like, thank Jesus and the Lord. I'm happy to be here. What I will say is I spent some time in St. Louis before. This is probably like my second or third time going. This was my first time as like a not business trip. So we, again, like got after it, saw a bunch of cool bars, just like really got a feel for the city, which is awesome. People of St. Louis are very hospitable. And then also
Oh my God.
in the tailgate lot, and you'll see the videos that we've made. We're getting those edited up for you guys right now. People were so willing to like chat with us, chop it up, and like kind of go with our idiocy. So that's always an awesome thank you. I know a lot of people like doing that stuff. Like, we're not the first person that made this idea up by any means. So thank you. If any of you are listening, much appreciated. And you'll be seeing yourself on the Taxi Squad Instagram soon. And the guy that DM'd us about the t-shirt being on the train, that's the price of doing business, baby. But he did come in saying he found trash on the train, which is rude, dude. Rude.
Yeah, and then he was surprised that I was rude. He was like,
Yeah.
okay, ... I'm like, listen,
Kill him with kindness.
I understand killing with kindness, but listen, don't come at me like that, especially after Uncle Mike's been a couple 2-3 deep.
Yeah, I was gonna say we were also
what I'm
probably not
saying?
in the best mindset to be.
You know what I'm
talking
saying?
like
It's raining. People are sending me pictures of like, we gave someone that shirt.
that. Yeah.
Either
But-
way, you better wear that shirt. And to Vince's point, the people of St. Louis, we thank you so much.
Thank you.
And-
Yes.
Just because your city wants to be Chicago doesn't mean the people inside of the city want to be.
None
okay?
of them do actually.
You're
None of
far
them have
more
any
quality
interest.
than most I've met from the city of Chicago, so I will give you that. Minus the guy sitting across from me. Just saying.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I love Chicago. It's my favorite city, all that stuff. So I won't completely agree with you, but what I will say is I know St. Louis does not want to be Chicago. There's a lot of similarities. But yeah, overall, awesome time. We will be back. The atmosphere in that game was amazing. I think they were over 30,000 in attendance for UFL game. So they show up in masses. A lot of fuck Stan Kroenkes out there. A lot of fuck Stan Kroenkes.
Fuck Stan Kroenke.
Yeah,
First
so
and foremost, right here. Fuck him.
we are the original Fuck Stan Kroenke podcast. That's always been said. We're pretty anti-owner in most situations. So shout out to you guys. Thank you again. We'll be back. And thanks for listening if you're on. Appreciate it.
Thank you. We appreciate you. Now, with all that, Vince, let's get into our normal programming. So if this is your first time joining us, we appreciate it. We usually start the show off with a topic that is strange and unusual in the sports world. And whether that's OJ dying, whether that's something that's very strange and sexual,
Goofy. Yeah.
goofy, dumb. All right, let's take it there. So recently, as we all know in the news, Rashee Rice, wide receiver for the Kansas City Chiefs, who you may all love and know, got in some traffic incidents in the city of Dallas. Well, his fun is not over in the city of Dallas because he is a suspect in an alleged assault that injured a man at a Dallas nightclub.
Come on, buddy. What are we doing? What are we doing, man? I'd say he's their number one receiver, unless the draft pick obviously ends up coming over it, or he can't play this year because he keeps doing all this dumb shit. He has established himself in a great situation on a team that will likely win more Super Bowls because there's no end in sight. And he's just up to this fuckery, man. Like, it upsets me. It really does, because it's like you were given an opportunity to thrive, honestly, beyond your expected means, and he's doing this shit. Like, maybe too big for his britches, maybe he's going to learn, but at this point, like, you keep doing stuff like this, you're going to get labeled. Whether or not it's fair or not, like, you're going to get labeled, and people are going to be like, all right, let's watch out for this guy before we go and sign him. Like, he might be a little bit of a loose cannon. He's racing cars and attacking people at a nightclub. Like, I don't want him on my team. What are we doing?
Vince, whether you're Alvin Kamara, Antonio Brown,
Tyreek Hill,
Tyreek Hill, CT could be kicking in. I don't care if you're after one season. You know?
Oh
as
no,
terrible
it's
as that
they
is to
say it could be like one instance.
Yeah.
So, and like again, no one really knows about the actual true. But also there comes a point where it's like you have to avoid those situations at this point. Like, you're a professional athlete, he puts up a couple more seasons like he did this year with Pat Mahomes. Like, he's up for a payday. If he can't play in the season because he's fighting people in nightclubs and getting in car crashes in his exotic cars, that's an issue. Like, this is a problem.
Who is the guy who played USC great?
Henry Ruggs.
No.
Oh.
He played on Bama. Be nice. Anyways, no, he played for USC. Matt Leinart, Carson Palmer era. And then he got drafted like late round because he was just a mess by the Detroit Lions. What was that? Mike Williams.
Oh, he was a first round pick for the Lions.
Oh, that's right. He was a first round pick.
They did 3 years in a row drafting because they drafted, what was it, Steve Johnson? Is that the guy's name?
No.
Not Stevie Johnson, but the other guy. He was supposed to be a monster and he wasn't. Mike
Wasn't
Williams.
He out of Michigan? Wasn't he
Could
out of
be.
Michigan? Yeah.
I just know they drafted that guy. They drafted Mike Williams, and then they drafted Calvin. Calvin obviously worked out. But 3
Calvin
years in a
worked.
row, they were like, find me a receiver, and they finally found one.
Well, they had no one to throw him the football minus John Kitna. But what I'm getting at,
Hey, Dan Orlovsky was a great quarterback.
Dan Orlovsky ran out the back of the end zone. Either way, I mean, hey, he wears jazzy suits and farts on air. So, I mean, that's his thing, right?
True, and he doesn't masturbate. And he refuses to
How
be
do
in
you
a
know
room.
He doesn't spank it.
He wrote a full thing about how to be like a God-fearing husband or whatever. And he's like, never be alone in a room with another woman. I'm like, I kind of get that. And he's like, don't watch porn. Don't masturbate. Like all this stuff. I'm like, Dan, a little too stringent here. Just like in general, it's like, if you need it, you need it. And also, there comes a point where you're like, you're doing too much. But regardless, this is not the point that we were making. You were talking about Mike Williams.
I mean, let's think about this, dude. Now the invention of Reddit. I mean, come on. It's impossible.
Put it away. This is a sports show.
Imagine if that existed in 2005. Hey, I didn't bring it up. You brought it up. Either way, Mike Williams, to the point, he was a smidge of a shit show as well. Similar things, but he didn't even put up a good season. So back to the Rashee Rice thing. Get a little too big for your britches too soon. You could see yourself in not a very precarious situation.
I would say so. So get your shit together. If you're hearing this, get your shit together. He's not. But if he was,
so
I would just...
do we think he gets suspended this season after all this? I mean, there has to be a suspension looming.
Well,
so
they kind of have like a
is
no
it
bullshit
4
policy a
games?
little bit in KC.
Who does?
Like, even if the NFL doesn't suspend him, like, they might just, like, not give him the ball.
Okay. I was just in Kansas City. I stayed in an area by the name of Country Club Plaza. Beautiful. Yep. I'm sorry. If you find a way to get in trouble there, you're a complete asshole. All right. And I know he's in Dallas, but to my point, stay in Kansas City.
Yeah.
Like, don't leave.
Avoid all the bullshit. That's the whole idea.
So he went to SMU. He, granted, dog at SMU. Fair.
He's a good player. That's no arguments there.
No argument that the product on the field, the guy's an absolute unit. But with all that, you cannot go to some city that you went and did fuckery in before you graduated. Now you're going to go back and do the same fuckery after you graduated. Now you're making millions, so now you got money to throw at it. And that was before NIL. That's before all the money was being.
And he's a target too now, dude. It's like people see him and they know he's famous, and they're like, all right, let's mess with the famous guy. Like, you just have to be smart about these things. Like, obviously, we've never been in that situation, but regardless, like, follow the people that have, follow the people that don't do shit like this, and you'll probably be better off.
Shout out to wife. She just texted me. She just heard what? You just heard LMFAO. So.
Yeah, I would love to get some behind the scenes from Mrs. Stass. That'd be fun.
Oh my God. Isn't it so weird when you get married and you become an adult and then you hear people say that and you're like, that's not my mom.
Wouldn't know.
Like, oh, that, yeah, right. One day you'll know, Vince. One day
Maybe.
there'll be a Mrs. Glav out there one day.
Maybe. The MLB. A couple things.
Yeah, we
here.
watched some baseball, Vince.
We're in the dog days right now, dude.
Usually the dog days means you're at the end of the season. By
I
the
know.
way.
Well, no, it's like the late July, August, like you're in the drugging, like bad part of the season. Dog days started early for White Sox fans this year. I think we can all just agree on that. But some fun news. New broadcast group out of Nashville. You brought this up. It's going to be Bulls, Blackhawks, White Sox, which is usually how it goes, and then the Cubs kind of fly and the Bears kind of fly on their own radar. I don't know what to take of this.
I thought the same thing. You want to know why?
Why?
They're based out of fucking Nashville. So I've read the reports. They will not be in the stadium. So they'll be like you and I sitting here watching a White Sox game.
What does that mean then? So are they still with NBC?
No, they're no longer going to be on with NBC Chicago.
So the people that are broadcasting the game aren't going to be at the game?
No.
What? Pardon me?
Makes no fucking sense. I'm telling you, it's really
including the Bulls.
Jerry Reinsdorf is going to find the cheapest option.
Well, you also have remind me of their name, the guys that own the Blackhawks.
Oh, the Wirtz.
Yeah, they're also not. I mean, I know, Mr. the top dog owner, he died.
Maybe I read it incorrectly, but from what I read, at least on the South Side, they are not having. People.
No, you're right. It's Blackhawks, Bulls, White Sox. Like, I'm looking at it right now. It's just I just canceled my athletic membership. Damn. NBC Sports ends in October. Standard Media Group, local broadcast and digital company. Yes, associated with the stadium. I don't know, man. You can't change it up. You got to call the game when you're there. And I don't necessarily think that this is a move to Nashville thing because they're not moving the Bulls. The NBA wouldn't even allow them. No, the NBA wouldn't allow them to.
Yeah, you got a point.
You can't move the Chicago Bulls. Like, you can the White Sox because the fan base isn't as big. The Bulls, I think, are the most...
Hey, our fan base is pretty big.
It's as big as the Bulls, Mike.
close. It's fine.
No, no, it's not. The
Yeah,
Bulls,
I mean,
the
let's
Bulls
face it.
are they've sold out every single game for the last 10 years, something like that. They're like the biggest. They're like the biggest group of fans in the
They're
NBA.
horrible.
Right,
They're
I know,
horrible.
but that's still, regardless of it, the NBA is not going to, one, lose out on the revenue, and then also lose a team in Chicago. Like, the only reason that the Sox would be kind of is because they already have one. So, I'm hoping
Don't
this is
give Jerry your money. Don't give him your money.
it's an issue. I'm hoping this is a nothing burger. But goddamn, everything that he's doing pisses me off. And if this is good, it's good. But if what you say is true and they won't be at the game to call it, like, that's obscene. It doesn't make any sense. That's like the first time that would ever happen. And they're going to be delayed because they're going to be on the same feed as we're watching. So, like, why would you want that? That's just crazy to me. I hate it.
Yeah, no, it's fun. I love it. You know, it's just.
Do you?
It's
You like
the
that they're
most-
changing it?
It's the most White Sox shit ever. So you just
Yeah,
gotta
but it's the two other teams, too, is my issue.
Yeah, well, you look at two of the teams, two of the three, they're joined at the hip. So
Right.
whatever one's going to do, the other will follow, like the Bulls or the White Sox.
I
Just
guess.
saying. Even though they claim the Bulls are in for a big rebuild, whatever the hell that means.
Nothing. It means nothing to me.
Although I also read a report that anybody who's anybody on the White Sox performing at the trade deadline,
They're
Bulls.
getting rid of. Yeah, go Bulls.
Was it a Beanie Baby? Yeah,
it's a
so
little beanie.
complete-
No, brother. This is a Beanie Benny.
Ah, so cute. So with that, they are completely tearing it down.
Good. Should.
Kopech's gone. Eloy's gone. Finally, good cats. Get rid of them all. Fuck them. I'm done. They're horrible anyways.
And then they won't be allowed to spend any money anyway to get new guys. So back to this rotation of hell. Should we, Mike, talk about this ridiculous rain delay? Which I remember us watching it too, and I was like, so like I got the notification on my phone that the Sox scored in the 10th inning when we were in St. Louis. And then like 4 hours later, I got the final White Sox won. And I was like, why did that take so long? It must have been like an app glitch. Not knowing that literally they delayed the game for 3 hours with 2 outs in the 10th inning. Granted, it was pouring, but just throw the pitch. Be done with it. So the Seas were just sitting there waiting for 3 hours to throw one pitch and then leave. That's
Are you ready?
Yes.
I got the call right here.
Okay.
The White Sox encountered a rain delay in St. Louis. It's an extremely inconvenient moment. The game was initially set to resume at 6:30 p.m., then 7:05 p.m., weather permitting. The game will resume at 7:30 in St. Louis. Okay, this is awesome.
1:20 start?
The officials called for the grounds crew to roll out the tarps at the bottom of the 10th as the White Sox were 1 out away from winning the game. John Breba has an 0-1 count against Nolan Gorman with 2 outs, possibly the final at bat of the game. As of this writing, the grounds crew is taking the tarp off the field. There's no timetable yet for when we will resume, as there's still an unplayable amount of water on the tarp and field. And then literally it was one pitch that would, I hate to say it, I'm happy we won, but it was really outside.
Yeah, that was like a Baez strike.
So like they waited 3 hours for one pitch.
that was called like essentially incorrectly. It's just
Like, was he drinking in between? I mean, he had 3 hours maybe. He
who
took
are
a
the
little
umpires?
nap. Angel Hernandez.
Yeah.
And then there's another guy, I forget his name. But
Yeah,
Angel
but
Hernandez
That's
is,
all you need, honestly. And I think the other guy too, I forgot his name, but he's also becoming the new like Joe West, which is pissing me off. That is so crazy. If you're
Do they
gonna
need
call it, at least call it the beginning of the inning.
do they need to disband
The umpires union,
umpire
yeah.
union? Yeah.
That's
I
the
think
thing. I'm generally pro union, but this is obscene.
We're
Like
from Chicago. We're
what's gonna
pro-union. How
happen?
you doing?
Right, Teamsters all day. But what
Teamsters.
what we're seeing is guys who don't deserve to be umpires, that just don't do their job properly, getting opportunities that they shouldn't. Like I think it was last year, Angel Hernandez sued the league because for racial discrimination because he wasn't put in playoff games. And then you look at his spread chart and his accuracy is like 84. Everybody else is in the low to mid 90s. Like, he's considerably worse than everybody. Obviously lost that lawsuit because he sucks at his job, but will never get fired because he's a tenured union umpire. What's going to happen is they're going to bring the robots in and they're going to trot those guys out there. And knowing Angel Hernandez and how he does it, he's likely going to change the call on stuff just so he can get his moment of shine. And it drives me nuts. Like, he's probably the most hated official in any sport.
The officiating has gotten so bad in the MLB, more so than any other sport. And don't get me wrong, the NFL at times takes the cake. The NFL sometimes is like, really?
Except for playoffs.
He breathed, really.
It's going to be a joke forever, dude.
Fucking Patrick Mahomes gets every call under the sun. I mean, granted, he's modern day Tom Brady. So if you're a fan, you're like, oh, I love it. But if you're not, you're like, that's kind of bullshit.
I'm a fan.
But I digress. With all that, I mean, hey, we hope Caleb Williams gets all of those calls, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we hope. That's what we hope and pray for.
All he's got to do is paint his nails black and white to match.
Yeah, that would just put the Maloikia on him. So he should just go Bears colors and call it a day.
Smart.
But the MLB, we've talked about it for weeks now. This season, more so than any other year, is going to probably be the demise of the umpire. So by next year, I am going to probably put good money on it that robot umps will be in full effect. And
or at least tested in spring training and stuff. Like, it's definitely coming.
Well, they tested them this year.
Well, that's what I'm saying, but like it might
tested it this year.
It might get implemented, and if not, like, they're going to be a big push. And as they should. And I think that they should, because it should be as accurate as possible in this scenario. And they're not doing anything to add to the game. The only thing that's fun is like, yeah! And you're like, all right, cool. And that's about it.
Yeah, the whole yeah.
Yeah.
Some guys are just like super like grunty with it. I love that. Those calls. You're just like,
yeah, right.
And you're like, all right.
Or, dude, no, my favorite thing is when they say why the ball is a ball. It's like, that's outside. Little inside there. Like, I love that.
I love guys like Jason Benetti or these, Glenn Casper, whatever it's going to be. These guys would be like, and that's a ball right down the middle. And I mean, they're like straight down the dick. Ball.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy.
What?
It's obscene.
What?
We'll see that
It
happening.
is horrible.
We'll see that happen. It's coming, man. Should we do some hockey talk?
Sure.
We don't do that.
I don't know a lot about it, but
you know what I do know about is the Chicago Blackhawks.
Yeah.
One thing that everybody knows is that Chicago Blackhawks are not playing in the playoffs right now, considerably.
No.
Not very good. And for that reason, they were included in the lottery today. So the lottery happened for the NHL draft. The exciting piece was Mr. Macklin Celebrini. I believe I said that correctly. He is a center from Boston University. If I'm wrong, sue me. I was hoping we got him because you could throw Bedard in a wing spot, Macklin in the middle, 1-2 punch, Taves, Kane again, all over again. Give it to me. We didn't get it. What's nice is we got two, and there's a lot of guys in the draft that's going to be sick, but I don't know them yet, so I'm going to have to get into them. I heard there's a couple defenders, there's a couple centers in there, maybe a goalie that you pull out of there, who knows. But San Jose is getting Macklin Celebrini, so congrats to the large fan base in San Jose for hockey.
He sounds fucking Italian, and hey, don't talk shit about the Sharks, all right? Because the Sharks are the Sharks.
Is Macklin an Italian name?
But Celebrini is. It's like Calabrini. It's like the other guy from Boston who played on the Bulls, Calabrini.
Scalabrini. You know,
Scalabrini.
Yeah. Guess where this kid's from?
Where's he from?
Guess. Give me just a guess.
Chicago?
No, Mike. Hockey player. Guess.
Oh, Canada.
Yeah. All Vancouver. Everybody's from Vancouver. Bedard, Vancouver.
Well,
that's like the Florida for like defensive linemen. It's insane. It's insane.
Or it's the Arizona or Florida or whatever for baseball players. I mean,
right. Yeah. Or Nevada as of recent.
Yeah.
It could be cool, but the real reason I want to talk about hockey is because of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Not sure if you caught this. They lose in devastating fashion to the Boston Bruins in Game 7. This is a recurring theme for Toronto fans. Toronto, considerably big hockey town, being in Canada. Now they lose out again on moving past the first round. I would say this is akin to like Minnesota Vikings fandom, where it's like the Vikings can have a good season and then they go to the playoffs and just get screwed. Like, you almost got to feel bad for them. Or the Twins. Like, how in the world does Toronto not win hockey games? How do they not move on?
Well,
That's insane. Like, why is Florida? Why are the Florida Panthers winning series after series and you can't get one in Toronto? Like, that has to be the biggest fan base in the entire damn league.
well, Vinny, they're playing Boston. I mean, Boston's one of the best hockey towns.
Classic
in the country.
chokers, though. This is choker on choker
Who?
battle. Boston.
Boston?
Yeah, they did last year. They set the record for most wins, or like second ever, and then
Yeah,
they get in there and got fleeced to shit. Like Toronto had every
Yeah, but
chance in the
they're
world
hungry.
to win this.
They're hungry.
Guess who
Yeah,
else
the game-
was?
Who?
The team that's been trying to get out of the first round since like 1942. Like, they haven't won a championship since the NHL
Vince,
wasn't the NHL.
Being White Sox fans, I think we can understand that.
Sure.
That this just happens, and sometimes
Yeah,
you just
and
go
they
on
shouldn't
15-year
accept it.
Fucking cold streaks.
They should not accept it. They should be yelling at
What
everybody.
are you supposed to do?
Fire
They're
the
Canadians.
coach.
We're supposed to do.
Sell
Hey, you know,
the
hey,
team.
I'm
Sell
gonna
the
show
team.
you.
Fire the coach. Maybe wear
that's-
some questionable Halloween costumes like their leader. Like, do it the right way, you know?
They're making the playoffs though, like every year for the past decade.
That's
So
I mean, the Bulls make the play-in every year.
that
And then
not the same. That's not the same.
Almost.
You can't equate the two
almost
because the NBA threshold of making the playoffs is like you might as well.
NHL's not that far off.
You might
and
as
also-
well just jump in the shallow side of the pool and claim you can swim. You know, it's not the same thing.
It's like the New York Knicks. It's like the New York Knicks.
Well,
They're
the
supposed
Knicks
to
are
be
good.
the
Don't put
mecca
the
of
Don't
basketball.
put the look on them.
No, but okay. Knicks 10 years ago, Carmelo Anthony team tried to get far, couldn't. Knicks in the 90s, solid team, stopped by Jordan. There's no Jordan in the hockey world. Like, McDavid hasn't just taken over every championship ever. Like-
Wayne Gretzky
Right
Is
now,
the-
bro. Right now.
right now. Connor
Yeah.
McDavid.
Yeah,
What?
who hasn't won anything yet.
He's just okay.
That's not my
Sid?
argument. My argument is saying
Sidney
who's
Crosby.
getting in his
You
way.
can't
Who's
say
getting,
that about Sidney Crosby.
when's the last time the Penguins won?
Oh,
No
it's
one's
been a
getting
while.
in his
But
way.
I'm just-
Vegas became a team 4 years ago, 5 years ago. Vegas already has one. Like, something needs to happen in Toronto. Toronto should be the place where players want to go, that they want to get signed to. All of that, like, it's just not. It's ridiculous. And if I was a Toronto fan, I'd be pretty pissed off
Well-
about it. And they deserve to
Hey.
win one because that's bullshit. And they're the mecca of hockey
you-
right now.
Just look at the original six, and usually 2 to 3 of them are in the playoffs. Always.
Yep. Except one
It's
of them
rare
never
to
wins.
see- I get it, but I'm just saying, out of the original 6, they're always usually right there. They're always close. You
They're
look
right
at
there in the
Boston,
first round.
Chicago, Detroit, Montreal, New York, Toronto.
Yep. Rangers are
Always
making a
close.
push.
Hey, Ranger, I'm surprised that Kaner didn't stay there.
He wanted to
would've-
play in Detroit.
for whatever reason.
Maybe
Doesn't make a ton of sense.
maybe to show
Let's-
it to us.
Let's stop pretending like we know hockey, okay?
I'm just think it's the fans don't deserve it. That's my argument. I think it's stupid that the place that should be have the biggest following of hockey, Canada, Toronto, biggest city in Canada, can't get a team past the first round is insane. It's like the Knicks in the playoffs the last 10 years until right now.
What's closer to Canada? Vermont or
Detroit?
Detroit?
Detroit.
Wrong.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I thought it was
Vermont
kind of
is
just
like- No, Vermont's like right there. You could
I believe that.
jump into Montreal. Like it's like 2 seconds.
They're both like stone's throws, I feel like. I know Detroit to Toronto is only a couple hours.
I wanted, I do hear Montreal's a great time. I'd like to check out Montreal.
I
I know we're
wanna
not
go.
talking about the Canadians. We're talking about Toronto, but I'm just saying.
I'm a big
we could
fan of
run through
Toronto
this
too,
six.
though.
We could run through the 6, Vince.
Have you been?
No, not with my woes.
Toronto is very similar to Chicago, and I like it a lot. I
Really?
like Toronto
You've
a lot.
been?
I'm a big
You've
fan
been?
of Toronto. Yeah, I have a cousin that lives out there.
Vince? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So Vince has definitely ran through the 6 with his woes.
Oh, yeah. All my woes
how
were
did-
there.
All of his woes were there.
Everyone.
And I'm just saying, did you have an owl? Did you get in a rat
No.
beef, so to speak?
I didn't ooh. I didn't get any.
Did you not ooh?
Yeah, I didn't get any RAF beefs. I didn't lose any RAF beefs, which he's doing right now. I just
Did
went
you
there.
count money? 'Cause
Nope.
You know how it goes. Oh, okay.
No, I went to a wedding, and then I went out to a bar, and then we went to a brewery the next day, and that was about it.
Sounds like the most. Did you watch hockey? Did you get some poutine?
Wasn't
You get
that
some
time?
poutine?
I did get some poutine. Not a huge fan.
Is it like? Isn't it just like fries and gravy?
It's fries, gravy, and cheese curds. No, but it sounds good though. But I think the gravy was just too salty. It's not my kind of thing. I like crispy French fries with a little dipping sauce. I don't want you to
Little
pour
dip?
shit all over it.
Maybe an
I went full
aioli?
Maniscalco right there. I like my French fries with a little bit of dipping sauce. Just
A little bit of. I need to do something with this.
So yeah, don't cover
Okay.
my fries. But other than that, Toronto, all stars from this guy.
Well, hey, the last championship they won was basketball. So why don't we talk about basketball? Because it'll be
True.
far more.
Mike, it'd be a
Interesting
pleasure to
topic.
talk basketball with you right now.
Yeah. All right. So with all that, Vince, the NBA playoffs full effect. We talked about it quite a bit last week.
And
There
we're
were some
going to
things
again.
that have ended in our time away. So I will go ahead and give the resident NBA analyst.
Analyst, yo. Okay. New York Knicks. And so what we're going to do here, essentially explain to you guys, is we had a full week. We missed some of the last games of a couple, and we reviewed a couple, like the Lakers getting swept to shit, obviously. So we're going to go over a recap of some of those and then talk about what's happening right now. Now, another thing, we are also recording this on Tuesday, and there's some games tomorrow. So whatever happens, we didn't touch on it. So, we'll just leave it up. But for whatever, all that being said, let's get into it. That's what I was trying to get to. The Knicks and the 76ers ended. Really fun game at the end there. New York Knicks end up pulling it out. I think essentially most of the world was rooting for the Knicks, yeah?
Yeah.
Were you
Come on.
rooting for the Knicks? Yeah?
Vince, I'm a Knicks guy right now.
Yeah.
We've discussed this last week. I really want this team to go all the way.
That'd be so fun. I would love to see it. Because, they haven't won since Walt Frazier, right? You can't.
Well, the last time they went this far was when, McEwing was on the team. And
Yeah.
all of them. I mean,
And they lost
this
to
is
Houston, right?
The 90s. I mean,
Yeah.
so this has been a very long time coming.
Yeah, and they deserve one.
Yeah.
To look at and we're going to talk about them a little bit too with the matchup they have right now. To look at the 76ers, something very good has happened. The fact that their season ended. The good thing
Why
that's
is
ended
that?
is that Tobias Harris is no longer on the 76ers and will not.
No?
He will not. No. I think his contract is up. And if not, they're getting rid of his ass because Tobias Harris plays 29 minutes in Game 7, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 0 points, goose-egging him. Tobias Harris is the highest paid player ever to never make an All-Star game. Tobias Harris was a max contract guy without an All-Star. That's insane. Like, what are we doing? That's because he was on the Magic, Clippers, and then over there to the 76ers. He likes his blue teams. I think this is good for them because it clears up some cap space. Obviously, Joel Embiid was injured. I think Joel Embiid's always going to be injured. I don't know how there's a way for him to make it this far into the season and not be a little bit to a lot injured. And I'll make the same argument about Kawhi in a little bit. Joel Embiid is always a little bit injured. One thing I want to say Adrian Wojnarowski, did you see what he said about...
Woj?
Yeah, do you see what he said about Joel Embiid? And if I said this already, you can stop me.
That he's constantly hurt,
No.
very big, plays too many minutes, and no?
No, he doesn't do any of that stuff. He does like trades and then big stories that come out. He said Joel Embiid doesn't want this to get out, but Joel Embiid has Bell's palsy, which means that like half his face is going like numb, and then he won't be able to see out of his eye at some point. Fuck you, Woj. What? Doesn't want anybody to know. Let me tweet this out so everybody in the world can see it. That is so ridiculous. Like, there should be a HIPAA violation or something like that. He should be hit with a fine or something like that.
Well, that's just him reporting. He's doing his job. He's a journalist.
Woj
did
said...
he say allegedly? He doesn't
No.
want this getting out allegedly.
He said
Bell's
Embiid
fault.
doesn't want this to come out, but this is what it is. That's ridiculous.
Sad, man.
I don't think he announced anybody, and it is sad. I feel bad for him. He's the top player in the league. It's not affecting him that bad. It seems like it's just going to get worse, unfortunately. And then hopefully they can figure out a way to either subside it or get rid of it. So yeah, fuck Woj on that. I hate him for that. That's such bullshit. But
hate's a strong word.
No, I do. I think that's total bullshit. I think if he's going to get any information about Joel Embiid anymore, he's going to totally avoid him.
Maybe he's slighted. Maybe Embiid slighted him, and he felt the need to get a story. Either that, or
That's
he's
worse.
running out of steam as a journalist.
That's worse.
He's running out of steam. Let me finish. He's running out of steam as a journalist.
Shams eating his ass
pulling
up.
Straws.
Shams is eating his ass up, dude. Shams Charania is on there. Chicago boy taking care of business. I just thought it was a dick move, and I don't think you should do that if you're a reporter, especially if you want to keep and build rapport. That's a bad way to do it. But next time we see Joel Embiid, he'll be playing on the American national team for some reason. So he's from Cameroon.
Yeah, that doesn't make a ton of sense either way.
He said his son's an American, so he wants to play for the team that his son is from.
The Sixers do not have the dogs over the past couple of years. They need, I think Bradley Beal would go great on that team.
No, avoid him like the plague.
No. Well, just saying. He's always just dogged. He's always been, except with the Suns.
Not this
He's
year,
always
yeah.
at least averaged a lot. Or, KD maybe, but you never know.
There's also a man. There's also two men. Both of them play in the city of Los Angeles. One by the name of LeBron James, who might be available, and the other by the name of Paul George, which I think is more reasonable. Now, there's two places I believe that Paul George can be going, this being one of them, the other being, however it ends, in New York, because they don't have a lot of size at guard. So Paul George, put him in a shooting guard position, or maybe a small forward, swap out him and Josh Hart, whatever you want to do. That's a better situation than Tobias Harris. He's not a ball hog like James Harden was, but 76ers, I think you're good in the coaching category, but the Knicks are just better than you. Now, Pacers-Bucks recap.
Didn't matter.
Okay.
It didn't matter. It didn't matter that they had Dame on the floor. It didn't matter.
Obviously injuries are the story about this. The injuries are a story about almost every playoff series. Like if you're injured, you either got to play up or play out. So here's a statistic I heard today, because when this move happened, we were both like, hey, idiots, this isn't going to work because this guy is obscenely overrated. And I've been saying that for years. He's won one
Tony
championship.
La Russa.
Yeah, he's
Tony La Russa.
Tony La Russa
he's
won
the NBA version.
La Russa won two more than he did.
Well, I get that, but meaning
La Russa's even better than this guy.
Let me finish. He hasn't done anything in how long? And then you think you could come in and just relive that glory. No, that's not how it works.
Totally. Doc Rivers is what we're talking about. Doc Rivers took over for Adrian Griffin in the middle of the season, if you remember all that rigmarole that happened and everybody getting all pissed and all that shit. Also, a reminder that they had Mike Budenholzer, who won them a championship, and then they dropped him like a bad habit, just like Toronto did with Nick Nurse, which they probably shouldn't have done. Doc Rivers' season with the Bucks, 17-19. Adrian Griffin's season with the Bucks, that they were pushing out of Fisher for him. They're like, get him out of here. We need a new guy. Adrian Griffin, 30-13. Other guy they're pushing out, Mike Budenholzer, 271 and 120 all time. why do people keep hiring Doc Rivers? What are we doing? Yeah.
Okay. Here's my opinion on NBA coaching. The players have far too much control
Yeah, for sure.
over who they want at the helm.
Right.
So they think they know best as to who's going to lead their squad or team best. But they don't. They don't have a fucking clue. And usually management gets paid to be management because they have a better idea how that team should be ran better than you do. Okay, why LeBron hasn't done shit in 4 years.
And to
Just
that
saying.
point,
Time out.
Ham.
I'm not done.
Okay.
You look at all these guys you just named, they were winning, things were going right, and then it was like one bad year, and they were like, yeah, we're done. You look at the NFL, for example, guys have bad years all the time, and then they get their opportunity to bounce back, and the NBA is far less forgiving. For whatever reason. Once again, I think it's way too much player control, but I digress.
Sorry about the dog if you can hear it. Darvin
Get him.
Darvin Ham of the Lakers got fired. This is a great point. And I was listening to Steven Adams and Matt Barnes actually talking about this too, because Darvin Ham getting fired, LeBron coach, Lakers looking at Ty Lue, who was also a former LeBron coach. Remember the guy David Blatt of the Cleveland? Also a LeBron coach. Only place that LeBron went where the coach didn't get fired a bunch of times was Spoelstra, because Pat Riley likes Spoelstra. That was why. Players choosing the coach is stupid. And that is because, and all the reports that were coming out about Milwaukee was Adrian Griffin, we're practicing too much. It's too hard. We're doing a lot of defensive drills. He doesn't understand how we play. How you play is bad. How you play is no defense. And Giannis is amazing. Giannis is a multi-time MVP. I will say all of that stuff. Giannis also still can't really shoot. Giannis drives the lane with reckless abandon and dunks the ball all the time. And eventually that's going to stop working. And you could see that stop working. He got injured. This is going to happen more constantly. Damian Lillard is getting older. Chris Middleton can't be the one guy on a team, also getting older. This team's window is shutting, and their solution was Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers of the Celtics with the first big three. That was an amazing team with a lot of other guys on the team besides just the three core. And then the Clippers, who can never get very far. And then the Sixers, who never got very far. And now the Bucks that can't get it past the first round. Why? Like, stop doing this, guys.
Well, this is the problem with the NBA, and David Stern enables the player movement, the
Silver.
player. Oh,
Stern.
yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, he's Mort. Now the other David, right? The other David from New York. He comes in and he wants to empower
Adam
the players.
Silver.
He wants to show Adam Silver. Whatever, close enough. Pick a name that's close to
Just
that
find one. It's in the Bible.
culture. Just saying. Yeah, find one. So Silver comes in and he wants these things to be very much so. Players are first. You start seeing more mobility. You start seeing LeBron jumping all over the place. Everybody else starts jumping all over the place. LeBron wants to be an armchair GM. Now he is. Now other players feel as if they can do the same things. This is
Kevin
a
Durant.
large reason. Well, KD, you look at Harden, you look at all these guys that want to be that aren't necessarily that, having a little too much influence wherever they go. Now, the one player you could look at that doesn't do any of those things, goes with the flow, shows it with his play, doesn't complain, talks a little shit, but that's about it. Jimmy B.
Well,
And that's why I love the guy.
Also a guy out in Northern California,
Who?
Stephen Curry.
Exactly.
Yeah.
To the point. Like,
Who's won
you look
more
at stats, you
championships
look at
than like
Tramp.
everybody in the NBA.
It's for a reason,
Yeah.
because he follows Steve Kerr. You look at Pop in his days with Tim Duncan and Manu and even a young Kawhi. It was that. Now, to your point, why does this continue to happen? There needs to be some sort of clauses, I feel like, with these players are like, hey, like, you know, tough shit. Don't play then. I don't know. It's a very this is why I always say the NBA is the bitch league. It's always and will be known as the bitch league.
There just needs to be a level of understanding. Like, yeah, like if you're LeBron, you're going to do what you need to do. But if you're LeBron, you can't listen.
Everybody wants to be LeBron.
LeBron James isn't good at constructing teams. LeBron James is good at taking a game over, which is what he did, which is how he essentially won because he had Kyrie Irving that was an already built-up team before he gets there. LeBron James also brings all of his friends. We talked about this last week with the Kuzma and the Caruso, and they get rid of everybody to get Russell Westbrook, and that was a shame. It was a damn shame what they did to that team. And now they're looking at guys, and they're like, hey, what do we do with these three guys? We're going to win it. I'm like, LeBron James is almost 40 years old. Like, he doesn't have the gas anymore. It's true.
LeBron James is also good at, co-producing rap albums and then saying, oh, yeah, we're going to come out with those other two songs.
Which is cool. Like, as long as it doesn't mess him up. Like, LeBron James is still playing very well when that happens. My biggest thing is him telling other stars to come and then them not getting it done because they're not that good.
Well, they're not that good, and he thinks like he can play with anybody and it'll work because it worked in, a 3-on-3. It used to, but it doesn't anymore, and that's not the NBA anymore. And I'm so excited for this man to be out of the game because I do truly believe once that voice is gone.
Oh, he's not.
I'm not
gone,
saying he
bro.
won't always be a part of the game.
He's gonna be there forever.
I get it. It's like Jordan. He's going to be around forever, and whether he steps into ownership or management or whatever he chooses to do, he'll be around. But that influence will no longer be there. And it shows it doesn't work. And after he's gone, I do believe the criticism will be in full effect.
Well, and we talked about this too a little bit, but we're kind of in a situation now where teams need to be built with deep benches. We have a lot of injuries every year. We see it all the time. The teams that go far, the Denvers, who, not great right now, but Denver last year, deep team. You're deep like 9-10 guys where you trust to be there in a playoff game. Lakers didn't have that, man. And the thing that sucks with Darvin Ham getting fired is like, was it his fault? Like, no, he's just kind of the fall guy because they're not going to piss LeBron off. So LeBron's just going to have to fucking get over it and maybe leave. And that's the thing that sucks too, is they get rid of good coaches, or even Toronto having Nick Nurse. Like, you probably should have kept the guy. He's won you a goddamn championship. Budenholzer, same thing. What are you doing? Like, it doesn't track in my head because you're like, if you got to the mountaintop, you know how to do it. If you had done it once, you can do it again. That's what I think in my head. That's what I think is possible. And maybe, coaching doesn't matter as much mid-season, but coaching matters a whole lot in the playoffs. And if you bring a guy in there that doesn't know how to coach in the playoffs, you're fucked. And you're seeing that now. There's a lot of new guys coming in, but there's a lot of guys doing inventive stuff and calling smart plays to move the ball. And the Lakers were just playing isolation ball, and that doesn't work. Same thing with the Bucks.
This is why Miami every other year is close.
Best player on the Heat is Erik Spoelstra. Best player.
Exactly. So it goes to show you that coaching does matter, to Vince's point. And as we continue to move forward, let's talk about the Eastern Conference. What is this? Finals, semifinals?
Yep.
Semis. So we got the Pacers and the Knicks. Game one. I mean, man, the Knicks, they look to be it, man.
Dude, that's a
they
fun
look
team,
to be
man.
it.
Yeah, it's a fun team.
They look to be there. You look at game one of this series. You got the Knicks beating them by 4, but I mean, just the 40-point games are just, they're fantastic. You love to see it. Jalen
Brunson's a monster. He is a monster.
He's a dog.
He's a dog. He is becoming the face of New York so fast. If he gets the team far and if he can actually win one, not saying this year, but at some point, he could be the most famous Knick of all time. And that's not being cute with it. Like, again, when's the last time the Knicks won? 1973?
I don't even know.
So. I think it was 73.
I'm not a Knicks fan.
Pat Riley was on that team. That's how long ago it was. And they won with Walt Frazier, if I'm not mistaken. But regardless, Jalen Brunson's a monster. Jalen Brunson's a small guy, and this is why I said the Paul George thing earlier. Now, one thing with Tibbs is that he can get his other guys to do well. We talked about deep teams. This is a funny deep team because they have guys like OG Anunoby, who essentially just got kicked out of Toronto for essentially nothing, it seems like. Isaiah Hartenstein, a lot of people were talking about him, and Josh Hart was playing like 7th, 8th, 9th on the bench. Now he's starting as a forward for the Knicks. Josh Hart's not a big guy, and he's going up and playing power forward minutes with them because they don't have Julius Randle, and they're one up in the semis. It's sick. Pacers are a very good team. I don't think this is going 4 games. I don't think they're sweeping them, but this is a fun team, man. And if Tibbs doesn't run them out of the building, they might be able to do something in the East.
This is what I love about Tibbs teams. It's very similar to that early Bulls method where you had some good young talent, some veterans sprinkled in, and they played together. And you just talked about the value of coaching, and here it is.
And you find Taj Gibson's, and you go
Gibson. You look at Ronnie Brewer.
John Lucas game. Remember John Lucas game? John Lucas dropped like 40 in a game. It was sick.
Right. So you look back at this time, and Boozer was on the team, young Jimmy Butler, very young Jimmy Butler, baby Jimmy Butler, before he was anything.
Rookie year Jimmy Butler.
They
MVP
just
Derrick
played.
Rose. That's the shit.
They played great. And granted, you had MVP Derrick Rose, but you also look at what he can do, meaning Tibbs with guards.
Yeah.
I mean,
if
he has a solid guard who can shoot, drive, do what you need to do, and it's versatile, there's no saying what he can and cannot do.
Now with the Pacers, sorry.
But to your point, though, in the beginning of the pod, when you discussed Paul George, if he's on that team and he buys in, scary things happen.
You have a long guy that can shoot the ball. I like the idea. The Indiana Pacers need Tyrese Halliburton to score more than 6 points in 36 minutes. I don't think that's a lot of statistical analysis. I think it's pretty obvious. Best player on the team. Pascal Siakam having a good game. Miles Turner scoring 23. I'd be inclined to argue that the Pacers might be more talented than the Knicks, but I don't think they play better basketball than the Knicks. So they have a lot of good players. They got Obi Toppin, former Knick. Obi Toppin going and dunking on people's faces. But overall, it's like, and TJ McConnell. We talked about TJ McConnell the other day too. But yeah, Tyrese Halliburton has to score more than 6 if they're going to win a game. It's just a fact.
Well, you look at Halliburton and Turner; they're probably the best 2 players on the team.
Yeah.
And to your point,
Sabonis is damn good too, and but those are the.
But if Tibbs figures out how to lock you down and just try and flow the game through everybody else, if he takes away your superstar, there's going to be some trouble.
Defense matters in the playoffs, bro.
Yes, and that's why I love playoff basketball. All right, let's continue to talk about it. So, the Heat and Celtics. I mean, without Jimmy, they're nothing. I don't know what more I could.
They smoked them. I can't believe that the Heat won. I mean, if it wasn't for the Tyler Hero game, like I can't believe they won one.
Yeah,
and
the Celtics.
We've been saying it all year. They're so good. The Celtics are so good, man. Like we've been saying it all year long. It's never going to change.
Yeah.
And then. Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know. I don't really buy into the Cavs. I don't see it. I don't get it. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
I do. Can I tell you why?
They're gonna get beat, Vince.
Why is that?
I mean, they went okay, here's why. They went 7 against a very young, granted, and talented Magic team. Okay, so they win, and now they're moving on. And as we look at the game this evening that just wrapped up, they lost by 25 points.
Yeah, they got smoked.
So there's no shot. This is the most uneven playoff series I've seen in a long time.
I don't know. The Denver and LA was bad.
Well, I'm just talking about for a semifinal.
Yeah,
it's very uneven. It's
now
just like you might as well just drop it in.
I will make an argument for that, but before we do that, I do want to talk about the Game 7 between the Magic and the Cavs. Cavs won that handedly. This is more of an indictment on the league as a whole. Why is the only Game 7 matchup on a day being played at 1 p.m.? Why would they put that in the middle of the day? Also, they've been playing it on NBA TV, like all series. I wasn't able to watch one of them without going on my illegal stream sites to go find it. Like, get it together. What are we doing? Like, I want to see Paolo Banchero play. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, they are.
It's insane.
They're trying to do what Well, look at the NFL. You know, the Amazon Prime playoff games, the Peacock.
But
playoff
everybody
games.
has Amazon Prime. Like,
not everybody has Peacock. Look at what the NFL did last year. You had to have a Peacock membership in order to sign in to watch a damn football game.
Yeah,
it's absolute
NFL,
nonsense.
though, man.
But it's the NBA, and they're all trying to buy into this model. Before you know it, MLB is going to, make
And
you
no one's
flip a
gonna buy
nickel.
it. I have MLB TV.
No one's gonna give a
I get
shit.
it free from T-Mobile. But okay, so argument I'll make for the Cavs. I don't think the Cavs are winning the series. I think they might win one game. So I will say that. But what I can see is one, Evan Mobley's a true center. The Celtics lost Porzingis completely. So they're not going to have him in here. Now, on the other hand, you have a couple guys that are kind of coming up, and Luke Cornett's playing the Porzingis role or something like that. Like, they're going to do it. I mean, you can't let Jaylen Brown throw 32 on your head as well. Even if Jason Tatum has 18, they win by 25. They're probably not going to win it. What I will say is Evan Mobley's a true center. Evan Mobley's probably the best center in this whole matchup. Donovan Mitchell has the ability to go for 50 at any time. Probably going to be hard against their defense. And Garland and LeVert are really good defenders, and Garland can play a good point guard. Now, the Celtics are a lot better. Celtics are probably going to win in 5 games. But that's the argument you can make for the Cavs, and I said it before, and I'll say it again. The Cavs are too small at the guard position, and they're going to get beat most of the time. So I think this might be the end of D-Mitch in Cleveland if they can't get their shit together.
Welcome to Chicago, D-Mitch. Let's go.
No thanks. He's a very good player,
No?
but I don't think that fits us in the least. He's going to go to
Goes
New
to
York
show
if
you
he
his
goes
issue.
anywhere.
Goes to show you his issues that he had in Utah.
Well,
I
and
mean,
that's
he
it's
just
not
couldn't-
even like an attitude problem. It's just he's a small guy who's very his usage is high.
He needs a second. He needs a guy, and he doesn't have that.
Well, and everybody does, but he does. He does on the Cavs. He has multiple top 5 draft. That's not true. That's completely incorrect. Darius Garland was an all-star. Evan Mobley's an all-star. They have multiple guys. Max Strus plays in an NBA Finals. He has plenty of guys on his team to compete. Their guards are too small, and they probably aren't coached well. That's what I think it is. I think you need another guy that can shoot the ball. That's really what it is. But that team is very talented.
Vince, remind me, what's the threshold of making an all-star game in the NBA anymore?
Getting in? What do you mean?
Well, like, what's the threshold?
You got to get voted
Like,
in.
Yeah, to my point. Like, it's
Yeah.
like baseball, it's like Pete Alonso always
Sure,
making
but
the
you
fucking
also
all-star
have guys that have won. I mean, Garland might have won the Rookie of the Year. Darius Garland is like a very big piece in the NBA. Darius Garland's probably a top 15 player. He's probably on a given night better than Donovan Mitchell. That's not true what you just said. It is not true.
All right. Well, needless to say, they're going out in 5, and it's most likely going to be the Knicks and the Celtics in the
Probably the
or in the
case.
finals. Yeah. So I digress on that. And what do I know?
We're on
But
LA is
as
burning.
LA is burning, and I love LA burning because I dislike greatly the man known as LeBron James. I dislike him a lot.
Kawhi Leonard signs an extension this year. Paul George
we're
is
talking
out.
about Kawhi. Yeah, okay.
Paul George is out. James Harden's going to go get a big contract again. Good luck. See you, buddy.
Somehow.
Clip show is over. Someone will pay him. Someone always pays. The clip show, as we know it, is over.
Good.
Probably good. It's not working out.
Well, I love Kyrie and Luka right now. They clearly hit a
So
stride where they play really
man.
well together. They're fun to watch,
Fun.
and they shoot the lights out, and they're cool.
So fun. Kyrie Irving in the
Money
playoffs
for
is
fun.
money for fun. Kyrie Irving in the playoffs is a treat, to say the least.
Electric.
And we remember him in the finals in Cleveland and all that stuff. But him being an integral piece on a team that isn't James Harden and Kevin Durant, it's just him and Luka back and forth. I love it. It's like NBA crack to me. Like that's what you want to see in the NBA.
Yeah.
His handles,
Yeah,
dude. His
like
handles
it's-
are so good.
Well, it's just they're both so impeccably talented. It's like at that point, it's like, yeah, they're gonna go far regardless of who's around them, and just get him the ball. Let him.
Kyrie had like
cook.
360 layups where he just threw it over his head and it went in perfectly. It doesn't make any sense.
He's always just been a physical anomaly that you're just like, how does this work? So I love to see it right now. I really do enjoy this series of the Thunder and the Mavericks. I think it's gonna approach 6 right now. If you look at the game 1 is currently at halftime, while the Thunder do lead the Mavericks 53-62. So
We
Good
went on a
times.
tear with the Thunder last week. They're so good.
they're really,
Are they too young?
really-
Is the question. And
that's what I was just gonna bring up. They might just be
Yeah.
a little too young right now.
And we might just be saying that because there's also another opportunity for them to beat everybody and just say fuck you. I think the Mavericks are probably set up more to win, especially with that 1 year they kind of drove. And I want to say that was like COVID year, so it might not count. But it's a fun matchup. It's going to be interesting to see who they play on the other end of it. But I still want to take the Mavericks in this series, but I'm probably going to be wrong here. And plus, they destroyed the Pelicans, and the Pelicans had nobody. They were decimated, so I couldn't really get a lot from that.
I can't, personally, I can't hate on the Thunder, and I just love what they're doing right now. So I'm going to roll Thunder this series, so maybe that's a series. That's our conflict series.
Okay.
So I like that. I dig that.
I like conflict.
I dig it.
Give me that conflict.
Good old conflict, yeah.
Last matchup here. The Nuggets and the Timberwolves. It's happening. The Taxi Squad idea is happening in real flesh, cold hard flesh, real time. The one team that can beat the Nuggets, god damn it, they're beating the Nuggets. They're up 2-0 in the series right now. I don't see them turning around at any point. Anthony Edwards is the dog. There's nothing to me that thinks that they can't beat him right now.
Well, and to Vince's point, when we said the prophecy is being fulfilled, we discussed this.
Yeah.
On paper, you look at this team, you look at the Timberwolves, they are structurally sound to beat the Nuggets. They have everything to compete with them defensively. And now offensively with Anthony Edwards, just probably the most improved player year over year, and just looks just.
Looks to be 22? The face of the league. Yeah, dude. He was coming out of Georgia, and people were like, he's lazy and isn't interested in basketball, and that's just so funny in retrospect now, and how much nobody really knows. Rudy Gobert, Defensive Player of the Year, on one side, and then you have Cat on the other side that can stretch the floor like a monster. Doesn't seem like Jokic can get anything started. And the most damning thing out of this, so game one, we were in St. Louis. We were watching this game with the big crowd, one of the Minnesota fans. Everybody's going crazy. Naz Reid goes off. Love Naz Reid. They win by 7. It was a relatively close game. Now yesterday, which is Monday, they played game 2. Game 2 didn't include Rudy Gobert because he had his first kid. So Rudy Gobert wasn't playing in the game. And the Nuggets beat him by 26. The Timberwolves beat him by 26. And this is the defending champions. This is like the no one's going to beat the Nuggets. If you're drinking the Kool-Aid, man, mine's already finished and I'm already passing out, dude. I love the Timberwolves.
I mean, the Timberwolves are giving Jamal Murray fits.
Yeah.
Literal fits. He's throwing shit on the court, losing his damn mind.
Yeah, he got fined $100,000 for tossing a towel and a heating pad in the direction of an official. No suspension, but $100,000 in the pocket of the NBA for doing so. So he's obviously pissed off.
So the Wolves are up 2 right now as we speak.
Yep.
And they play again, if it be, on Friday night. Mm-hmm. So there's a big gap here in between. So from a Monday game to a Tuesday game, they're really saving up their primetime schedule. So with that, the Nuggets are going to be playing the Timberwolves at home, I believe. No, the Timberwolves play.
That's the thing. Timberwolves beat them twice in Denver. What are we doing?
Oh, that's insane. That's insane.
Crazy.
That truly in itself is a feat, especially NBA playoffs, if you can take a game at home. I mean, any playoff. You take a game at any away series. It's great.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts, Vince? Friday night, you got the Nuggets, you got the T-Wolves. In between that time, the Knicks and Pacers will play. There's a slot on Friday night. It's Knicks, Pacers, Nuggets, Timberwolves.
I will be in Miami, and I will be following it on my phone because I will be, and I already announced this on the pod, I will be at a club, which I don't want to go to. No offense to people that want to go to the club. I'm retired, bro. I'm going to see Steve Aoki. I'm going to see a cake thrown in the face.
Smell my armpits.
Smell so
my
what I'm
armpits.
Gonna do,
they smell like garlic.
What I'm going to do is just watch the games on my phone as the clubbing's going on and Steve Aoki's playing a set. So we'll see how that goes. I think in this series, they're gonna split games here. I think the Nuggets are going to win game 1. I think the Timberwolves are going to win game 2. And then it's a 3-game series Timberwolves up 2. I could see it going 6 still. I don't think they're going to sweep them by any means. But at this point,
Sure.
I don't see what they can do to win. I really don't.
I agree. So by next week, we should be really close by next week, Vince.
Yeah.
To figuring out who's going to be who in the zoo. So week after week, we continue to have the same conversation.
Yeah.
Who's going to be the Eastern and Western Conference Finals?
Who's going to be in the Eastern and Western Conference Finals? Eastern, I got Knicks. I think the Knicks are beating the Pacers. I think everybody's kind of on that board, which kind of scares me. Celtics, yeah. Knicks, Celtics, fun East Coast matchup. Now, West Coast, Mavericks, Timberwolves. And then I got Timberwolves going through. I got Celtics going through. Timberwolves, Celtics championship. We'll see what happens there. I'm not ready to make a pick yet.
I only disagree in the West. I do believe the Thunder make it, and I do believe they make it really interesting. I believe that series has the potential to go 7.
Nice.
Now, we will see, people. The prophecy may or may not be fulfilled. But one thing you can say about Chicago Mike of the Taxi Squad podcast, regardless if he doesn't watch a game all season, I got a pretty decent thumb on this shit as we start to get into the playoffs.
It's true. It's working right now.
Just saying.
You're up.
Just
You're
saying.
up. You're hot
Halfway
right now,
decent
dude.
thumb. I know. I'm on Fuego right now. That may be guided by a good friend whose first name starts with V. But with all of that, we appreciate everybody being here with us this week, as you usually are, as of course we will be back and with you next Thursday. If you haven't had an opportunity before the end of the episode to follow, like, share,
Subscribe.
do that before we move on. Oh yeah, and subscribe.
Right here.
No matter where you subscribe, but YouTube, if you want to see these beautiful fotches once in every week, the merch is in full effect. So if you do have it, wear it with pride, please. Okay? And tell your friends about us. Maybe they can get some free stuff in between, right? And if you got a brother, if you got a sister, if you got a step, if you have a whatever you got, sibling-wise, could be from another mother. It doesn't have to be necessarily blood. Let them know about the podcast. And then, as always, we'll see you next week, people.
Peace.
Talking Tales with Mike and Vince. Oh, you know. Jazzy beats while we dispense. Yeah, you know.